have you been up to these days?
Oh man, I feel like a lot. Obviously, a lot with Corey dies in the end. Working on uh, new music. Hopefully, recording some stuff here soon. Outside of that, staying busy with work, staying busy with my wife and I are part of this run club that we're pretty active in. Um, Staying pretty busy. What have you been up to recently?
Well, I'm starting to record another new song.
Yes,
To
awesome.
um, cover of a song that I recorded in college called
Nice.
Spaceship. But but it's taking forever. But I'm getting there.
It happens. It happens.
But just traveling. I just was in New Jersey for a wedding,
Nice. Where
and
at where at in Jersey?
like up north, like 5 minutes away from New York City.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because my mom and stepdad actually used to live in Princeton, New Jersey, from like 2012 to 2019. My stepdad actually works in New Brunswick. They were actually there this week because my stepdad had to go into New Brunswick for work this week. So yeah, that's awesome. That's wild.
I mean, I did go to the University of Delaware a while back ago for school,
Oh, that's wild. I'm not sure I realized that. That's awesome.
and then that was before Beautiful Bodies came along.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, that old band.
yeah, that's a band too. Do you miss
Awesome.
it at all?
Yeah, yeah. Uh, yeah, if Alicia and Luis ever wanted to do a Beautiful Bodies reunion, like I'd probably be in, if they'd have me. I mean, I still see Luis quite a bit because he still lives here in KC, but he's busy with little ones now.
Really?
So yeah, he's got two little ones now, and so I think that keeps him pretty busy. I know he and Jorge had a show recently at Minibar. Their band together, New Obsessions, and I've seen them a ton, but I feel bad I didn't make it to this last show. It's been a minute since I've seen them, but I have seen New Obsessions quite a bit, and they're great if people haven't seen them. But it's the kind of oh, I think I might have lost you, Daniel.
It's in a while.
Oh yeah, there you are. I think we had some connectivity issues for a minute.
Yeah, now it's recording again.
Okay, great, great. Sorry, yeah, I was saying
I'll put.
I know. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, you go. I was saying I was gonna put this all together when it's done, so
Okay.
so it looks like a video.
Sounds good. Oh yeah, I was just saying Luis and Jorge have a band together called New Obsessions. Seen them play plenty. I feel bad I didn't make it out to this last show that they had at Minibar. But yeah, it's similar to like a lot of the bands that they've been in before. Um, you know, very interesting rhythms, very interesting tonality, a lot of energy. Stuff that's very what you expect from Luis and Jorge.
Well, I knew that they had a band together a while back ago,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
they've had several because they've been in like Pixel Panda together. They've been in there was a band that I was in with them called Parents. Um, I played guitar, Luis played guitar, and Jorge played drums. In New Obsessions, Luis plays bass again, and Jorge plays guitar and does vocals. Sometimes they have a drummer, and sometimes it's backing drums that Jorge programmed.
Oh, that's
But yeah,
cool. That's cool.
they're very energetic and a lot of fun, and people should check them out if they get a chance.
So, what kind of music have you been writing?
So with Corey Dies in the End, I feel like I should give some background. Like I started it as a solo project during the pandemic because we were all, quarantining and stuff. And I at the time I was in a shoegaze band and was writing stuff for that. And then, about a year into the pandemic, I was like, all right, I've got this stockpile of stuff for my shoegaze band. Um, and so I just started trying to like write songs on my own with vocals and stuff. And that was like really the first time that I really put a lot of effort into that. And so originally Corey Dies in the End was only going to be a solo project. I never thought it would leave the bedroom. I was even kind of reluctant to show friends that like demos that I was working on at home, because I just wasn't very confident in it because it was the first time that I'd ever uh, done a band where I was like the lead vocalist and stuff. But I feel like Corey Dies in the End is the total opposite of like the shoegaze band I was in. Like I just wrote all this stuff on guitar and was very focused on the music and guitar. With Corey Dies in the End, the focus is really on lyrics and vocal melody and having the music all just support the lyrics and vocal melody and trying to be stuff that people can relate to. Like for example, Corey Dies in the End stuff is the first stuff that one of my stepsisters was like, "Oh, I like that song. I like that band." Because normally I think my stepsisters are like, "What is this?" When they hear bands I'm in. So yeah, I
Oh,
feel like
that's
it's a
good.
total. I think in some ways it's a departure where it's like the focus is very much vocals and melody, and so hopefully it's a little more. I wouldn't say it's pop music, but it's pop music compared to like music I've done in the past, maybe. Although some
Would you
like
call
Beautiful Bodies, for example, was trying to be popular as well, but yeah,
we knew that. um, well, they were kind of like artsy pop.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Um,
Yeah.
would you put your music into like indie?
Yeah, so I feel like every artist or band is always terrible at um, giving a genre for their own music. But I'd say if we're being real, Corey Dies in the End is kind of like definitely definitely stuff that I think you would hear if you went to like Vans Warped Tour or something. Like it's kind of influenced by a lot of stuff like that because I think me and probably a lot of people were very nostalgic during the pandemic. And so I kind of gravitated back towards some bands that I really liked when I was first learning guitar and stuff. And I think that kind of influenced Corey Dies. And then at the time, I was also really into like emo trap, like Lil Peep and Nothing Nowhere and stuff like that. And I really loved how, um, and I think you can hear it in our recordings, even though I've been told by friends that our live show sounds nothing like the recordings, but in a good way. But the recordings are very much like kind of emo-y sounding guitars with like some trap beats. Even though I think we're kind of moving away from that because at this point, the pandemic's been a while ago now, and a lot of the first batch of songs were written during that. But now that I've got a full band, I am trying to write way more like traditional, drums, guitar, bass, and trying to really focus on stuff that's easier to pull off live and sound like the recordings live. So I think that's influenced the current sound of the band of the last few like batch of songs that we've been writing. If that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. Well, do you have like any favorite bands that would you want to work with in Kansas City that you haven't worked with it recently?
Yeah. Yeah, one band that we've been meaning to try to play with them is Shotgun Wedding Singer, which Ben from Rhino, it's his new band. I think they've only played a handful of shows, but we've talked with them a couple times about playing shows because I think they're kind of like um, I haven't actually heard them yet because I feel bad I haven't seen them yet. They've only played like 2 shows, and they are about to open for Red Jumpsuit Apparatus. So I think they're at least along the same lines as that. They're about to play with Red Jumpsuit Apparatus at the Truman, I think later in April. But Ben has said that we'd be a good fit, and I'd love to play with them. Another band, I think I've seen them play, but I think we'd fit well with them. But they're a little bit younger. Um, is Blast Monkeys? I don't know if you've heard them at all. They're kind of a little bit pop punkish, a little bit emo. Um, Again, it's hard to classify everything. Like it's easy to slap multiple
Me,
genres on every band. So,
yeah, yeah.
but yeah, I'd love to play with both those bands. We were setting up a show at Velo Garage in North KC for May 17th, and I reached out to both those bands, but the scheduling didn't work out. Oh, another band too, and they've been around forever, is Game Time. I'd love to play with them. Um, yeah, I think they're another band that we'd fit great with, and from the KC area. But
Well,
yeah,
that's
we
cool.
have. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, no, it's probably fun. I
But yeah,
said that's really
we've got a
cool.
couple. Oh, yeah, yeah. But yeah, we've got a couple of different shows coming up. April 6th, we're playing Minibar with Talking Backwards and Aspen, which are both, I think we all fall under the category of indie rock. So that should be a good show. And then we've got a show booked May 17th at Velo Garage, which is in North KC. And we booked that through Nathan Roush, who does Record Machine. And we're playing with my friend Hillary, and her project's called Hillary Suze. And it's Suze is spelled Susz. So we've got a couple of shows coming up. We try to book about once a month to not play too often. Find that sweet spot.
Well, there is a show that's coming up that I'm gonna go see. This girl from Canada, she's coming into from Canada. Her name is Alex Johnson.
Oh, nice. Where's that at? Is that at Record Bar?
Uh, yeah,
Nice. Yeah, they've been getting some good shows lately.
yeah. I started when I bought the tickets. It was the they have an app, and so you can like buy all the shows on it, and it was just it's very new to me, so I have trying to figure it out.
Nice. Yeah,
But
yeah. Record Bar's been having some good shows. I think the last one we went to was Killeth Fair. Did you hear that one? Killeth Fair.
no,
It the headlining act was members of Bad Ideas and Frog Pond. So that was really cool to see. Like Don from Bad Ideas was the lead vocalist. Rest of the band was Frog Pond. And then also Hillary Watts, who's actually a neighbor of mine. She lives down the street a little bit from me. She was playing bass with them. So it was cool to see. I can't remember what they were called that night, but it was basically Frog Pond and Bad Ideas coming together as one band. So It was a cool night, and
Yes.
yeah, Record Bar's been doing a lot of cool stuff lately.
Well, do you
Would love to
remember
play there too.
though back in the day it was the Riot Room and the Czar Bar at one point.
Yeah, yeah.
And now that's all gone. So
I know it makes me sad because my wife and I actually met at Riot Room. That's how we met.
I mean, those are good venues. It's just so sad that that's
Yeah,
gone.
yeah. It really is. It's been tough since the pandemic. I feel like venues are more like a lot of venues. I think only book like maybe Thursday, Friday, Saturday now. It's been a lot harder to book shows since the pandemic, and I don't know if that's just because I'm getting old or what, or if people aren't going out as much. Maybe a combination of things. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. But I mean, those are really good venues. I mean, I well, book like bands around Kansas City, but they're mostly benefits.
Yeah,
So I
yeah, for
normally
sure.
just do benefit concerts, so to raise money for a good cause. That's about it.
Yeah,
Try to get the local music out there.
yeah, for sure.
So,
I know I've been in bands. We've played plenty of benefit shows like that. I love playing. I love playing those. Like it's cool doing shows for a cause. And then Kansas City does actually really have a really cool and really great music community. So yeah, it's cool to get to know other bands and you know experience and build community here in KC. So yeah, I'm all for benefit shows.
yeah, I mean, that's what I love to do. I haven't done it in a while, but the last one it was last year. It was at the record bar
Do you think
for
you're doing another one
um
this?
if something comes up, I would love to do another one.
Yeah, yeah, and we'd love to play one if you'd have us. So yeah,
That would
if
be
the occasion
great.
comes up, count us in.
Who would you want to go on tour if you got a chance to?
Like, where would I go? Where would we go?
Like who would you want to play on your tour if you got the chance to tour with somebody?
So I'd really love to play with this band called Cliff Diver. They're from Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's also where I'm from originally. But Cliff Diver is a newer kind of emo-ish band. They played Sad Summer last year with Taking Back Sunday. I think they're on a tour right now with, or about to be on a tour with like Early November and Spitalfield, I think. But I just think they're really cool. You know, being from Tulsa, Oklahoma, there's not much to be proud of. I mean, there is, and Tulsa's getting better, but it is really cool to have a cool band like Cliff Diver from Tulsa. And they're not your stereotypical emo band. They've got two vocalists, and one of them is a woman of color, and I believe Brianna, she's originally from Branson, I think, which is cool, and she really relocated to Tulsa. And Joey, the other lead singer, he's I think actually a veteran. I don't remember which branch he served in. And then they also have a saxophone player, and I'm blanking on his name right now, but he always plays shirtless, which is really entertaining. But they're a great live show. I saw them play at the Bottleneck last fall. That was the first time I saw them, and they were a great show. They put on a great show there at the Bottleneck, even though it was a decent crowd, but I would have loved for there to be more people there. It was tough because 4 Year Strong was also playing at Liberty that night, so I think there was some competition there in Lawrence. And then I also saw Cliff Diver play in Tulsa in December when I went to visit for Christmas. They played the Cain's Ballroom there in Tulsa, which is historic. Like within Cain's Ballroom, there's portraits of like all the old country and western musicians that have played there over the years, like Bob Wills and I don't know, just all the like old school country and western artists that I feel bad I don't even know them all, but it's a cool venue. So I'd love to go on tour with Cliff Diver if they'd have me. So Cliff Diver, if you're out there watching this, I'd love to go on tour with you.
Well, that would be fun. It would be fun
Yeah.
thing to have on tour.
Yeah.
So if we're going back to the beautiful bodies, so
Yeah.
who would you, if you got a chance to record a new song with the beautiful bodies, what song could you think you could have done that you
Oh, that's a good
think?
question. Because I feel like I know I'm biased, but I feel like the best era of Beautiful Bodies was when I was in it. No surprise, biased here, but for real though, like when I was in the band, we wrote You're a Risk and She's a Blast. And I know She's a Blast is like I think if you go and check out Beautiful Bodies on Spotify, I think it's the one with the most like plays and listens and all that.
Yeah.
And so I think we like really hit our stride there. So yeah, when I was in Beautiful Bodies, I was in the band from 2009 to 2011, and at the time I was way into dance rock, and I really wanted us to focus on dance rock because at the time dance rock was still newer and there weren't a bunch of female fronted dance rock bands out there, so I thought like that'd be a good niche for us, a lot of fun, and a good direction to go. So I would think like if I was in the band again and we were doing music again, it'd probably be stuff that sounds similar to You're a Risk and She's a Blast. There were a couple other songs that we wrote and finished at that time, but we didn't record them, so I don't remember them that well. But I think it'd be in the same vein where it's like, catchy choruses, a good beat that you can nod your head along to, maybe even dance to. And then like before I was in the band, they were more avant-garde, or like I know one of the influences was Blood Brothers, and I like Blood Brothers too, but it was kind of like before I joined the band, it was very much Yeah Yeah Yeahs and Blood Brothers, and I like those influences, and I want to take those influences, but maybe have it be poppy and accessible, but like a good balance of poppy and accessible
Yeah.
with you know, some fun, more interesting, more avant-garde influences. Find that sweet spot.
I mean, that was some good songs. I mean, I don't know where you guys found the lyrics to it, but it was really good.
It was so it's funny, like some of the lyrics came from just like, for example, You're a Risk came from something Luis said where, man, I'm probably going to butcher this story because it was from such a long time ago, but um I think he would like had gone on like a date with some girl that, and he didn't know her that well or anything, but he said like he was telling me and Alicia about this girl, and he was like, I was like, "You're a risk, I gotta go," and we were like, "Oh, that'd be a funny chorus, like that would be a good chorus to a song." And so sometimes like when I was in the band, lyrics would come out of just like conversations we'd have, and um I don't know, yeah, you just toss around ideas like that. I remember me and Luis were helping write some lyrics for She's a Blast. Like we went over to Alicia's parents' house and we're hanging out with her and like playing the song over and over on her laptop, and we were trying to think of lyrics. So it was cool because like sometimes lyrics were pretty collaborative uh, in that era of Beautiful Bodies. So yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah. That sounds fun. Being
Yeah.
being around. Do you ever get to talk to her now? I know she's totally
Um,
busy these days.
the last time I saw her in person was at Luis's wedding. So that's been a few years ago now. But no, I don't hardly see her because I don't feel like she comes into town very often anymore, you know. Um,
Mm,
but you know, I think we've still got a decent relationship and everything. It's just I don't hardly see her, and like honestly, I don't hardly see Luis enough anymore either. And then when I was in the band, Brian Jewell was our drummer. I do see him every now and then too, like when so my wife's from St. Louis, and we go and visit in St. Louis sometimes we'll hit up Brian and see if he and his wife Betsy want to grab a drink or just, you know, hang out or whatever. But I do feel bad. I don't, you know, it's hard. Everybody gets into their own routine and kind of does their own thing.
yeah,
And
yeah,
when I was leaving the band, Aaron Crawford from Flee the Scene was our drummer, but I never knew him. I never knew him that well. Um, and I don't ever see him either. So I don't know. But
yeah,
part of it is just, you know, you get into your own routine and uh, you know, some people come into your life and some people you still have a good relationship and, you know, think of them fondly, but just don't happen to see them very often. It
yeah.
happens, I guess,
Uh,
as we get older.
I guess so. I mean, the only time when I see her, it's mostly on social media. So
Mm, yeah, for sure. I mean, I follow her on Facebook and I think Instagram or something. So I keep up with her sometimes. I feel like she's a very sporadic poster. Like sometimes she'll post a lot and then sometimes she won't post at all for a long time. So
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know. It
like,
happens. I mean, I
yeah,
kind of am the same way when I post. Like sometimes I'll be feeling it and post a lot, and then sometimes I'm just a lurker and I just check out other stuff and don't really contribute.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I just try to keep up with people, in the
Yeah,
music.
yeah, for sure. I feel the same
And
way.
I mean, there's so many new people in the music business. It's crazy. I mean, I've interviewed some good people through the past couple of years, from the East Coast to now New York to Nashville, and then kind of let it stop and then go back. I was supposed to do an interview with Nathan from Not a Planet last
Oh,
week,
nice,
but
nice.
then I had to cancel because I was sick.
Uh,
And then
well, I
and
hope you're
then
feeling better.
but yeah, I'm feeling much better than I was before.
That's good.
So
That's great news.
um so what kind of like music would you say for this new, like, are you gonna do like any singles, or you just like an EP or album?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, we so far have only released singles, and that's for a couple reasons. One is so far everything Corey dies in the end, except for one song that I did with my friend Angel, has just only been me. So it's been very much a solo project. And even one song can be overwhelming when you're like the only person. Um,
So
and then I think
yeah.
so. It's a it's a couple of different things. Like it's a more manageable chunk of work. And then also I feel like people are more accustomed to just singles now. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if people have the attention span for an EP or album anymore. I don't know. It's also like a good way to just like test stuff out. I think we've released 6 or 7 singles starting in I think like released one single in 2011 or 2020 2021. Released 3 in 2022, released 3 in 2023, and then released 1 earlier this year for a total of like 7 or 8. I don't know. And so it's a good way to test out material, because I think as this project goes on, it's still like I'm doing a lot of learning. I'm still like figuring out what direction we're going, what we're doing, and all that. But there is a plan to record 3 songs that I think go together really well. They're called Seven of Swords, Cheater, and 10 Things I Hate About You. And my wife and I joked that it should be like a 3-song EP that's like a tarot spread that's like past, present, future. So I don't know if you've ever done like a tarot spread or something, but like one of the most common spreads is doing a past, present, future spread. And we thought like maybe one song could be the past, one song could be the present, one song could be the future. Because the 3 songs lyrically and the subject matter kind of go together and could be like kind of a past, present, future. And the one that's called Seven of Swords, like that's literally based on and inspired by the tarot card that's Seven of Swords. So that's kind of the plan. And I do have a plan to record those songs. The first one we're going to start recording in mid-April or mid or late April. And it'll be the first time that I record it, not myself. I'm looking to record it with somebody else, but we're still in talks there, so I don't know. So, but yeah, I'm finally looking to record with somebody else outside of myself, because I think the recordings we've done sound good and decent, but I don't know. I'm ready to try it out with going to a professional and letting them do it.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully it'll be quicker and sound better. But yeah, we're excited to record with some professionals now.
I mean, there's some good studios in Kansas City, so
Yeah. Maybe looking for some suggestions here soon.
I mean, I guess if you want to do it at home, I guess you could, but I don't know how that will sound.
Yeah, it's worked out
Everybody
okay
has
so
their
far,
own
but I'm
point
ready
of.
to. I don't know. It's a lot of work. So I'm ready to let somebody else do the engineering and just focus on the like, singing and guitar and all that jazz.
Well, that's good. That's good. See what else I have on this list. Are you doing anything for Easter?
So every year, not every year, but my wife and I go to, like, we don't have kids or anything. We do have like lots of nieces and nephews, but none of them live here in Kansas City. So like we actually don't have any family that lives here in Kansas City. So a lot of times we will find kind of like adult Easter egg hunts to go to. Like, for example, we like to go to Irvine's, which is this winery out in Lawrence, and they'll have like an adult Easter egg hunt. Some of the eggs will have candy in them. Some of them will have like 10% coupon off a bottle of wine. So we'll go and do that. And then KC Wineworks, the one out in like Overland Park, I think, they'll have like an adult Easter egg hunt. So we'll go and do that. But yeah, we like doing adult Easter egg hunts, and they usually involve wine. So it's a lot of fun.
That's fun.
I recommend it.
I guess my sister comes up with these parties. So I do have nieces and nephews, and it's kind of crazy sometimes.
Oh, I bet.
Try to do something with the whole family. Um, like what do you just like how do you describe like some of your like the music that you do?
So, um, like I said early on, it was kind of inspired by like a lot of emo trap that I was listening to at the time, like Lil Peep and Nothing Nowhere, and maybe like Stand Atlantic, even Belmont. I like Belmont, and they kind of have some. They're kind of like a post-hardcore band that's a little bit pop punk, but they also have like some trap drums in there sometimes. So the first batch of songs, if I'm being totally honest, were um, kind of emo trap. Like I was just trying stuff out. Now I think it's a little more the newest batch of songs. Now that I've got a full band. Um, oh, I feel like I should introduce the band. By the way, so I first I first reached out to Nathan, the guitarist, in mid 2022. Um, he and I had played together in a band way back in the day that never played a show. We never got a full lineup that stuck together. But I thought the music I was doing might be right up his alley, so I hit him up. Um, and he's also in a band called Missouri Loves Company. I don't know if you've heard of them at all. And then he also plays with Stretch, which Stretch is the owner of Grinders. So our guitarist, he's in a couple other things. And then Jordan, our drummer, I was in a couple of bands with him. The most notable one I think he was in, I wasn't in this one, but he was in this band called Reward Tree. Like they played Middle of the Map Fest and stuff back in the day. But the bands I was in with Jordan, the drummer, were called Small Joys and AM Power Nap. Neither of those bands lasted very long, but I played with him in a couple bands, and he's like a pretty badass drummer, and so I hit him up. And then the bass player, his name's Dan, and he's actually my next door neighbor. So I
That's
saw him
cool.
going to a guitar lesson, like biking to a guitar lesson with like an acoustic guitar on his back. And I was like, hey man, do you play bass? And he was like, yeah, a little bit. And I was like, would you want to play bass in my band? He was like, sure, I'll give it a go. And so, it's a fun group of people. And yeah, we played our first show live last June at the Brick. So we're as a band not even a year old yet. But I'm hoping one day we'll get to play stuff like Boulevardia and Plaza Art Fair and all this fun kind of like Kansas City festivals and stuff. But yeah, since they've all joined the band, my writing has gone way more towards trying to think like straight up guitar, drums, bass, more traditional like rock band setup. And so the newest batch of songs is more like that. I feel like we draw influence from like emo-y stuff, like Taking Back Sunday and stuff like that, but also kind of like late 90s, early 2000s pop rock, like Third Eye Blind and Eve Six and Weezer and stuff like that. Like it's trying to be if I did a pop band. Like probably many people probably don't think it's still that poppy, but it's like if I did a pop band. To me it's pop music.
Who is your
That's what I think it is.
who would be your big influence?
Uh so I'll be honest, even though they're not my favorite band ever, but I like them, is Third Eye Blind. Like a lot of the verses I'll try to do kind of like oh man, and I feel bad. I'm totally blanking on the lead singer's name of Third Eye Blind right now. I can't believe it. But you know how he kind of like sort of rap sings but not really. Like I just think that's kind of fun and kind of like cool from a storytelling perspective because like you can fit in a lot of words and material that way if you're kind of like rap singing it, I guess, because like there's a lot of room for lyrics and words and vocals if it's more along those lines. But yeah, I it's kind of like each song might have a. There's a new song that I just finished or it's not even finished, I don't think, but I sent it to some friends to just get like a gut check on what they're thinking. And they're like, yeah, it kind of reminds me of Weezer a little bit in a good way. But also, I would say that this song is influenced a lot by this song Serotonin by Girl in Red. I don't know if you've heard that at all, but she kind of like has like a hip hop sort of vocal delivery on the verse too, where she's like fitting a lot of vocals in there. And I just think it's kind of fun and a little bit interesting to have vocal delivery like that. So it kind of just depends on the song. Like each song, there might be some band that I'm kind of like thinking of or influenced by or just like trying stuff out, you know. A lot of it's trying stuff out. I don't know. I don't, you know, I've been playing in bands since 2006, but I still think I'm like, you know, hopefully growing and developing and becoming a better songwriter. Um, but yeah, I feel like I'm still like trying stuff out and discovering stuff and trying to get better.
Well, I guess you've been in a lot of bands. Like how, like, like, how does that come along?
Well, it used to be my policy kind of was like, if anybody asked me to be in a band, I just always said yes. So there were times I was in like 3 bands at a time. I probably couldn't name all the bands I've been in. I mean, a lot of them never even played a show. You know, like we never got a full lineup or never got more than a handful of songs. But yeah, for a long time, especially throughout my 20s, my policy was just like, if anybody asked me to be in a band, I said yes. But it was good because like you learn a lot from playing with different people. You see their approach, you get a lot of influences, like you just become better as a musician playing with a lot of different people. So um yeah, I don't know if anybody's looking for advice, but if you're trying to get going playing in bands, just like say yes, play in like 2 or 3 bands at a time. Like um yeah, there's no better way than like learning on the job, I guess.
I guess
the
it's
like the very
sounds.
first the very yeah, I was gonna say like the very first real band I was in. This was like 2006. I had just turned 20, and they needed a bass player. It was a band based out of Lawrence, and I had a bass. I didn't play a ton of bass, but they were like, "We need a bass player," and I said, "Oh yeah, I play bass. I'm a bass player," and you know, I don't know. I basically learned on the job. I wasn't that great of a bass player, but you learn a lot. Like I think when I first started that band, I was very guilty of playing like lead bass. Like I was a, you know, guitarist that, or a bass player that wanted to be a guitarist. So like I probably did way too much and it was too melodic and all that. But like you learn to kind of like lock up with the kick drum and like hold down the root note, and you come to appreciate stuff like that where it's like maybe not the sexiest or most glamorous part of being in a band, but you learn to like appreciate what role each part of the band plays. And I think when you really understand what role each part of the band plays, like it helps you write better songs. Because I think when you're young, everybody's trying to be the lead whatever. And if everybody in the band is trying to be lead whatever, it doesn't always make the best music because it's like a lot going on and it kind of clashes with each other. So I think it helps you learn like how to work as a team, I guess, as cheesy as that sounds. But I think it makes for better music because you're not trying to compete, you're trying to sound cohesive.
So, like, when you were in the Beautiful Bodies, did you ever do any fun shows that like going somewhere?
Oh yeah. Uh the best shows I ever played was when I was in some of the best shows I ever played was when I was in Beautiful Bodies. Like the biggest show I ever played was we played I think it was Buzz Christmas 2010, I think. And it was us, Inner Party System, A Day to Remember, and My Chemical Romance. And it was at the Midland for like a few thousand people. And it was cool because like after we were done playing, my wife and I, she wasn't my wife at the time, but she is now. We were there backstage, like just off stage, watching My Chemical Romance play. So that was really cool. That was like a once in a lifetime experience. And I remember when we were playing, some of the guys from My Chemical Romance, Gerard especially, like they came to the side of the stage, and I saw them watching us play. So that was really cool. And probably the most nervous I've. That was probably one of the most nervous I've ever been playing a show because it was in front of thousands of people. My Chemical Romance was watching us play from off stage, and weirdly enough, that was one of the few shows my grandma came to before she passed. And I remember when A Day to Remember was playing, she was like, "Can we go wait out in the lobby?" Because she was like, "This band is terrible." She was not a fan of A Day to Remember. But no, we got to play lots of cool shows. Like another show we got to play when I was in Beautiful Bodies was at Starlight. We played the second stage in between each act, but it was for Street Sweeper Social Club, which was Tom Morello's band at the time, and then Nine Inch Nails and Jane's Addiction. So in between each one of them, we played the side stage at Starlight, and we got in for free and got to see. That was like the first and only time I saw Nine Inch Nails, and Nine Inch Nails is amazing, so it was cool to get to see Nine Inch Nails for free. So yeah, we got to play. We also played when I was in the band the side stage at Uptown, opening for Paramore, so got to see Paramore play for free. Trying to think what else, but yeah, we got to play a lot of cool shows, of course.
I do remember some of them.
Yeah, I've got
ones.
So I used to be really weird about, or I still am, but I've documented almost every show I've played. Like I've got a Word document somewhere that has it. I've actually just started emailing it to myself, but I could go take a look at that document. I think I can name like every Beautiful Body show I played, for example, and I think I know everybody that played with us. Like I would try to track that too, because like early on, I thought it would be a cool thing that I would look back on later with all the bands I've been in and be able to see. Like I've been able to open for like a lot of cool bands, so I'm very lucky in that respect.
That's very cool to know to have like in your like just say, oh, people just when you do have kids, you can say, I've played with these people, and
Yeah,
you have not.
Yeah, they'll be like, who? They'll be like, who is that? I'll be like, classic rock. It's classic rock to you kids.
So, but so Jess, I was just wanted to say, well, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to do this with me.
No problem. Thanks for having me. And sorry it took us so long to get it going. I know I was difficult to book with, so I'm sorry about that. But I appreciate you having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Where can people?
And also, if you ever want to,
What?
If you ever want to come out to one of our shows, hit me up and I'll put you on the guest list.
All right. Sounds cool. Where can people listen to your find you? Do you do Facebook?
So yeah, Corey Dies in the End. We've got a Facebook. I'm not very active on the band Facebook, although I'm active on my own Facebook. We're probably most active on Instagram. We're starting to try to dabble a little bit in TikTok, so we've got a TikTok also. But you can stream our music on, I think, like every streaming service. Like we're on Spotify and Apple Music and Amazon, and all of that. So we're straight, like I use Discogs, so, or not Discogs, sorry. Oh my God, I'm blanking on it. DistroKid. Discogs is what I use to like record my record collection. But DistroKid, we're on DistroKid, and that puts you on all the streaming services. So we're on Spotify, we're on all of them. And we do get played on local radios some too. Like we get played on The Bridge. So like yeah, 90.1, 90.8, or sorry, 90.9. And then we used to get played on The Scene with Pretty Boy out on the Kearney radio station. We get played on a couple of Lawrence radio stations. A lot of it's like, or the KISS radio station out in Lawrence. I think a lot of it's like for the local one, but sometimes I think we get played at regular times too. But yeah, people should follow us on Instagram and TikTok, and can listen to us on Spotify and all the streaming platforms, Bandcamp, SoundCloud, all of that.
Where all the music happened.
Yeah, where all the music happens.
Well,
No physical releases yet, but maybe one day we'll have like a CD or a tape or vinyl or something.
have you had any of those happened? Like, did you have ever?
Yeah, actually, I think the last physical release I did was with that band I had with Luis and Jorge. It was called Parents, and we put out a cassette tape.
Well, that's cool.
And I've still got some in my basement. So if anybody wants a cassette tape of that band, I could probably hook you up.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to do this with me. I'm very happy.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me, Daniel. Appreciate it. Hope you I think you're doing well, and I hope I'll see you soon.
You too. Talk to you later.
Sounds good. I'll talk to you later, Daniel. Bye.